Perfect. Broadcasting in 3, 2, 1. And we are broadcasting.
Where'd they go?
My wife sent
Where
me
did
this
you go?
picture today.
What?
My wife sent me this picture today of a car she saw in a dentist.
Shiny. That is a shiny car. Oh crap! I gotta turn off PHP Storm.
Why is that?
I just feel so my memory doesn't run haywire on me. Alrighty. Episode 108. Do you want to do this? I'll do it. I haven't done it in forever. I haven't done your new format yet. Hey, this is Eric Van Johnson, and you're listening to PHP Ugly, episode 108. With me today is my good friend, my comrade, my partner, Tom Rideout.
Aw, hey, how's it going?
Good, Thomas. How you doing?
I'm not too bad.
And also with us, probably on parole, something shady, John Condon.
I like that you always start all of our podcasts the same way. Hey, this is Eric Van Johnson.
I know. I'm a man of patterns. I don't know what to tell you.
Could be worse. You could say, so this is Eric Van Johnson.
How was everybody's week?
Oh,
That good, huh?
school's out.
Is it?
It is very, very out.
Like
And
out for just the week?
For summer.
What are they out for? Already?
yeah,
Out.
we have built-in snow days, and there were 0 snow days this year at school, so they get that extra time off.
Yeah, I think schools out here have another week or so.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's been an adventure.
So what you're trying to tell me is in a couple weeks I can expect to have more players for Ultimate because we get a lot of the high school kids out there.
Yep.
Sounds
exactly
about right.
Actually, we get some middle schoolers that beat my ass in Ultimate. There's these twin girls. I swear that they got to be like 14. Freaking, they kill me. They're so much better at the game than I am. Welcome to John's Ultimate Frisbee Corner.
I will say that crowds here in San Diego, I don't know, maybe it's my old age or something, but it seems to be getting more and more crowded out here earlier and earlier. Like the crowds never really let up anymore. It used to be off season. It was pretty like I could go down to the beach and find parking no problem. I never even worried about it. Now it doesn't really seem to matter what time of year it is. You go to the beach and like parking is a challenge.
We have a beach around here?
We have one or two, small beaches, nothing big.
Do you know of anywhere that might have a private beach?
I hear there's the conference.
I'm all about the private.
Yeah. And there's a conference going on at one of those establishments. I think it's the Bahia around September, like the 19th.
Is that what it is?
Are you getting excited about this yet, John? Wave PHP?
I've been excited about it.
I'm getting so incredibly stressed out about it right now. And I don't have a good reason why, because we've got speakers. People have pretty much confirmed. I think we have like one kind of outstanding, haven't officially confirmed speaker yet, but
it's because we have costs that we have to cover, and we need people to buy tickets. We need sponsors. I'm happy we're selling tickets.
You've got 5. You have 5 sponsors here.
Every week we have a couple of people purchasing tickets, but it'd be nice to know that it's full.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. It would be nice to see because honestly, the tickets that people buy don't really make that big of an impact to the overall expense of running a conference. It's really the sponsors you need. I'm hoping that some sponsors step up. We still need to. So, what's the plan with the schedule? Do you want to announce when we're going to release a schedule, or we just kind of keep teasing it?
Keep teasing it for now. We're waiting for confirmation on one person. I think we have. Yeah, we need to get it cleaned up before we put it on the site. It should be soon,
Actually,
though.
Technically, we're still missing a person, right? Because we had a keynote pull out.
Correct.
So technically, we are still short a speaker.
If you know anybody,
fine, I'll do it. Jeez.
If anybody has any real suggestions.
Now, so I found a problem here is that if you click on the organizers tab on the website, there's a link.
Don't bring up problems on us.
There's a link to this podcast on that page, which
why would we have done that? That makes no sense.
That I think SEO wise, that marks points off the page. You're gonna lower your hit rating.
Who did this page? That's horrible. Oh man,
that's a damn good picture right there, though.
And you look like you're holding hands, though.
You click on it, it goes to
what's wrong with that?
Drugs, tattoos, and coding. That was good. That's a good workflow right there. I'm not holding your hand, John. You were there. You know my hand is on your ass. Come on, that's why you're smiling. That was PHP Tech a few years back.
A few.
I think that was their last year in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah.
That's just 1 year ago.
No.
It was in Atlanta last year and
St. Louis a year before that. So it's been a few years.
You definitely look like you've had kids since then. Your hair is much darker in this picture.
I dyed it just before we went.
He uses that not Rogaine. What is it that the
just for men. Just for men.
Just for men. Yeah. Yeah. You see, I don't worry. I don't have that problem.
You don't have that concern whatsoever.
Not at all.
You could dye that beard though.
I could Sharpie it. Oh yeah, I got the beard going on now.
So, what have you guys been up to this week?
Not a lot. Tomorrow, I actually I'm going to LA. Gonna go to see.
Got a court date?
Yeah, after last episode, I should, right? No, I'm going to see. I think is it James Taylor? Is he a singer?
Yeah,
yes, that's a singer.
Yeah, I'm going to see James Taylor in concert tomorrow night. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, somebody else asked me earlier this week. I was like, I'm going to a concert, and I couldn't remember the name.
Well, John mentioned it was James Taylor, and somebody's like, I don't think that person's alive.
Oh yeah, I forgot she said that. She's like, he's still around? Yes, he is. I'll be there tomorrow. My wife and I are making a nice little getaway. Grandma's going to be here watching the kids, so we can get out a little bit. So
nice.
It'll be nice. Excited about it.
I hope it turns out better than the last getaway.
The last getaway.
Oh, with the sickness. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, the getaway was great. It was afterwards. Being around a bunch of freaking Germany kids. See, we're getting away from the kids, so it should be much better this time.
That is nice. I'm getting away from my kids, but I'm not super excited about it. So on the 4th, my wife is taking all of the kids back to San Diego.
And you're not coming with them this time?
No, I'm staying here. So I'm gonna have a solid month entirely on my own in a giant empty house.
Month?
A month.
You work remote. Why would you not be going with them?
I don't want to go.
Oh, well, you just said you're not excited about it, but you're not going with them. I'm so confused.
I don't want to go to San Diego anymore. I love San Diego.
We need to refund a ticket, Eric.
I know, it sounds that
never
way.
actually bought a ticket. No, I just it's like Eric said. I remember when we were there and when I was growing up there, and traffic was bad Monday through Friday, but then Saturday and Sunday it was all right. And then slowly Saturday started to get really bad, and then Sunday got bad, and now it's just every day is always the same. It's just massive traffic no matter what.
Where are you going that you're in traffic? I never hit traffic.
Through Del Mar.
When? Where are you going?
Well, I've lived in Encinitas. I lived on the coast, so to go anywhere, you had to go on the 5.
Again, I travel. I drive all the time, and I never hit traffic like that unless I'm traveling during rush hour. Outside of that, yeah, there's traffic, but it moves just fine.
You sound like a sovereign citizen there, John. I'm a traveler. I
I'm a
travel.
traveler. Like, no, I travel the highways around here and never hit this kind of traffic. You make it sound like it's LA traffic where you're bumper to bumper, not moving.
No, but it's not fun.
But you're still traveling at 70, 80 miles an hour.
No.
It's not like, yeah. Then you're traveling at the wrong times. Or you're driving at the wrong times. I'm sorry for saying traveling.
Yes, I'm driving at the wrong times, which is when there's all the traffic.
You're making it sound like it's 24/7 like that. It's a couple hours a day.
I'll just tell you that here, when I get a traffic alert on my phone, it's because there's a red light in front of me. That's it. Like, it's never bumper to bumper traffic. It's always nice. It's a little too hot right now, but I can.
Well, I'm for one, Thomas. I'm happy you're not coming back out.
See, Eric gets it.
Except we're gonna go hang out with your wife while she's here, just so you know.
Oh, please, someone keep an eye on her. Yeah, so I'm gonna have a full month of the only interaction I get is this podcast.
So you're gonna get some coding done? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, coding and then working out and
Fortnite.
Yeah, well, Dark Souls 3. It's my big addiction right now.
Rocket League.
Yeah.
Man.
So I hear from you guys all the time that you have interactions on Twitter with listeners. I don't get that often. However, this past week, friend of the show, TJ Miller, reached out to me and was giving me advice based on our last episode because he, for some reason, thought the code base I work in was Laravel. Now, I love Laravel. We have lots of projects in Laravel, but the main one I work on is not. But it was fun just having this back and forth with him. And then he tweeted out something interesting. Docker for Mac. You can use a special, in Docker, there's a name where you can connect to the different containers. Well, Docker for Mac has one built in, docker.for.mac.localhost, which I had happened to see that day. I was working with somebody trying to get Xdebug working for their configuration, and he had showed that to me, and that's how he connects to MySQL. He's running that locally, not in a Docker container. And I didn't put two and two together. Xdebug still wasn't working for him, and I went through all this crap to figure out, okay, what's your IP address of your container? Let's hard code that. And a couple hours later, I see TJ Miller tweeted out this Docker for Mac.localhost. And I was like, if I would have just put two and two together, put that in there, it would have worked just fine. So
and you confirmed that works?
He was already, this other developer was already using it for MySQL. So from his container, he's not running a MySQL container. Mm-hmm. So from the web container, it's connecting to his local host on that same it's not even a domain, but that same thing, docker.for.mac.localhost, connects back to his host for MySQL. And
I've got to try that.
Why I didn't say, oh, let's try that for Xdebug, and it would have worked fine. Instead, I'm like, okay, and I'm doing this through Slack. We're on a video call, and I don't have control of his machine. So I'm like, okay, open a terminal now. Now type netstat. Make sure your Xdebug is listening. Okay, that's listening. Now type ifconfig. Let's find out what your IP address is. I feel like I went through so many hoops trying to make this work for him, and had we just tried that, it would have been fine. It's funny.
So you call TJ Miller a friend of the show. I call TJ Miller a friend, John. Call him a friend.
All right,
and TJ Miller will be, and I also call him a Wave PHP presenter. That TJ Miller will be speaking at Wave PHP, and spoiler alert, he is doing one of the tutorial days, right? He's doing Docker. Yeah. He's doing a whole, learn Docker from A to Z sort of thing. So, really super excited about that.
That is a beautiful beard too.
TJ's, yes.
Oh yeah.
He is. He definitely takes it to the next level. He is, the way PHP site, I assume.
Yep.
Yes, he's his wife is pretty awesome as well. I met her at Laracon in New York. I guess it was last year. She super funny lady. So he's coming out to San Diego. I'm really excited for them to come out to San Diego. I'm gonna try to talk them into not leaving. See if they want to hang out for a while.
Yeah.
I need friends. Please stay.
Come for the conference. Stay because you're stuck in traffic.
Stop saying that.
There's none at the beach. There's none at the resort.
As John would put it, come for the conference, stay for the weed.
Oh, wait a second. Eric and I do the PHP Architect podcast, and on the last one, on our interview, outside of what was actually put into the show, we were talking, and the last time he was out to San Diego, he was here for a conference at the same hotel and walked from the airport to the hotel, which is like, what was it, 6 miles?
Yeah, that's not TJ Miller. That was Steve.
No, yeah.
Steve Grunwell. We were interviewing Steve Grunwell, who's another presenter at Wave PHP. Yeah, and he mentioned that he's like, yeah, not only have I been to San Diego, I've been to that hotel before. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I walked there from the airport. I'm like, what? That's not like a block or two. That's like a lot of distance.
He told us it was 6.5 miles, so we actually went and looked it up, and it was around 6 miles, and it was interesting.
That's a nice walk.
Yeah, but it's not like it's
faster
not
than driving.
Walk. Oh gosh,
I forgot what conference he said he was out here for. I think it was before he was a developer.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Terrible about that stuff. But
if you are curious about who's going to be speaking at Wave PHP, it's been up for a while, but we have all the confirmed speakers. I am missing one confirmed speaker, who's Amanda Folsom. Just because I'm waiting for a profile picture from her. But all the confirmed speakers up there, and really looking forward to a lot of these. Pretty much all of them.
Well, you're saying these. All we have are speakers. We don't have what they're actually presenting on yet on the site.
Not yet. Yeah.
Soon.
John and I were talking about today. It's like, what's really going to suck about Wave PHP is we're not going to be able to see any of the talks. There's so many good talks. It's like how we were trying to figure out how we can work it out that we can actually go see some of the talks.
I'll let you know.
Somehow we'll just put the responsibility off on other people and just not run it at that time.
Because that worked so well when that was done with you guys at the last conference. Yeah, just take care of this one projector.
Oh, we gotta get fired from our own conference. That's how we do it.
I don't know why we didn't think about that sooner. That's definitely the way to go there. 110 days out, John. 110 days.
How do you know that? How do you know it's only 110
It's on the website, John. It's on the website. It's a little countdown thing. Have you
terrifying?
Have you removed the early bird special yet? No, you have not. You maniac.
No.
Why do we still have an early bird special? We've announced the speakers. That's pretty much all people need to know.
It's not available though, is it?
What? The blind early bird is not available. The early bird is still available.
Blind early bird is done. I finally won that battle. My gosh.
Yeah, I say give it a couple more days, and then we'll remove it.
All right, so this time next week there will be no more early bird special for anybody listening and want to get in on the ticket. And you really want to do the workshop because I've already given away one spoiler on that one, which is the TJ Miller Docker one. But we're gonna have 3 other workshops, and the biggest problem you're gonna have with the workshops are figuring out which ones to go to because all 4 of them are pretty dynamite, I have to say.
And if you're not a conference regular, the workshops are basically half-day sessions. So it's a 4-hour session that you take breaks in it, but you're in there usually doing hands-on learning. You're getting a lot more information than you get from just a 1-hour talk. So definitely worth it.
John's going to be giving a great rolling your own joints workshop that you just cannot miss.
And I've never rolled a joint. I can say that.
Could you hear? I heard him wink. Could you hear him wink, Eric? That's weird.
He normally has his white roll.
No, I learned you have to use the Apple of vape pens, and that's what I started with. And I'm like, it's no bueno. I'm done.
That was it.
Yeah, if I had gotten the Android of vape pens, maybe it would have been different. But I got the Apple of, and I didn't like it.
So you've completely cleaned up by now, right, John? You're on the wagon.
Well,
see, you missed your opportunity.
Drinking.
Well, that's different. That's just alcohol. I mean, whatever bad has happened from alcohol.
Everything.
Nothing that I can think of at all.
But you missed your window of opportunity because you had a small window of opportunity. You could have tweeted out racist remarks and jokes about people and blamed it on the medication you were taking.
That only works with Ambien.
Where did this come from? What are you talking about?
What, with Roseanne? You didn't see that?
I did. Did she blame it on?
She blamed it on Ambien.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they responded. They responded directly to her on Twitter.
Oh, I missed that. What did they say?
They said that there are thousands of clients using their medications every day, and studies have shown that their drugs do not induce racism.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now they're talking about the rest of the cast in a spin-off show. And I saw something on Twitter that I thought was just amazing.
Okay.
The recommendation was killing off Roseanne's character and Dan marries a black woman.
That would be good. That would be good.
I don't know if it'd be good. I would watch it. I would definitely watch it.
So what I saw, I'm a fan of Kathy Griffin, even though her whole thing with Donald Trump, whatever. She was tweeting out, and I won't get into her specifics, but somebody was responding to it and said they should do what they did with Becky on the show and just replace Roseanne with somebody else, and it would be funny if they did it. Never mention it and do it with Kathy Griffin as her replacement.
It's such a mess, man. Politics has officially leaked into every form of entertainment media.
Oh, it's permeated everything. You can't get away from it anymore. All right, I have a complaint. this has been an ongoing complaint of mine for a while, and it really has gotten to the point now where I'm like, I have no good explanation to why there's this behavior. My complaint is, I'll start with the complaint, and then I'll circle back around to why I'm experiencing it.
They're both 18. You can just kick them out of the house now.
No, they're 20. What are you talking about?
They're both over 18.
Yeah. But for the longest time, my complaint has been, as a business owner, John and I made the decision to use Google. I forget what they called it back then, but basically the Google Suites, the Google Apps
Business
Google Business for our domain, and that's really where we live now these days, or at least me. Like, everything I do is off my business account, which is a Google account. So I still have my Gmail, and I have a lot of the Google services, but with a business account, you're really restricted as to what you can do. So one issue I actually experienced recently is I tried to add my business account to a family plan that I have on a regular Gmail account, and it doesn't let you do that. Not only does it not let you do that, but it won't let you create a family plan with a business domain, even though it's hosted on Google. So I'm like, okay, that's aggravating. I think I kind of understand what they're doing. They're trying to avoid any issues with people leaving companies and all their movies being bought on a company's email address. And I mean, I was coming up with excuses as to why there are these limitations. And it even extends to when Google releases new features, it always seems to take longer to hit the business accounts. I'm like, all right, they're just making sure that these things are enterprise ready. We'll use that. But what happened today kind of really irritates me, and I can't get over I can't figure out why they're doing it. But so let me rewind a little bit. My one daughter, for years now, has been using my Chromebook, a Chromebook that I just bought. I don't even remember why I bought it. Oh, it was when I was going through a tablet phase, and I wanted to find a good tablet, and I thought a Chromebook might make a good tablet, as opposed to buying an iPad. Or I had been buying Android tablets, and I didn't want to buy another Android tablet. I hadn't really considered buying an iPad, and so I went with a Chromebook. Anyways, I didn't use it very frequently. My daughter starts using it, and turns out she loves it, which is fine. I'm perfectly happy with that. I've been trying to get my mother to use a Chromebook for years, but she won't do it. Well, unfortunately, last week, my daughter drops this Chromebook and shatters the screen, which is a touch screen. So that's a pretty big issue. It still works, so the touch screen doesn't work, but
all right, before you go too much further on that one, his daughter babysits for my kids sometimes. The day she drops it, she's babysitting our kids, and she comes over and sets her stuff on my counter. And just before we leave, I look and I see this Chromebook all messed up. And I'm like, what did you do to your Chromebook? Not knowing, I'm assuming it's been like this forever. It's like, yeah, I just did that. I felt so bad, rubbing salt in the wound.
Did you tattle on her?
I don't even know
call up Eric.
I don't even know when my kid is babysitting for John and his wife. It's like, the kid's not home. John doesn't tell me. The kid doesn't tell me. I never have any idea.
I didn't know I was supposed to tell you. I should check with you from now on. Is that what you're saying?
But yes, she damaged it pretty good. She cracked the screen. She broke the case. So me being the geek I am, I'm like, all right. I actually, because of my situation with my MacBook, have another MacBook. I'm like, hey, you just want to use the other MacBook? You can use the other MacBook. I'd really like another Chromebook because I like the weight of it. I like how light it is. I like the battery life on it. I'm just gonna go buy another Chromebook because they're like $300, $400 at Costco. well, me being the geek I am, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I really wanted to try the Google Chromebook, like the one from Google, which is a little bit more expensive, but I figured she'd been using that one for so long. I was going to go ahead and splurge and get it for her. So I get it for her. And it is so much better than I had thought it was going to be. And even my daughter, who was using it, is like, she's like, I can't believe how good this device is. So this, I mean, it does all the same folding the other one did, but this folds actually into a tablet and has a tablet mode to it. And she's using like this drawing. My daughter is an artist, and she's really particular about her drawing applications. And she started using this drawing app and really loved it. I'm getting to the story here. I noticed, I'm like, well, let me check it out because I'm the geek. I want to check this stuff out. And I'm looking at it. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I noticed that the Play Store is on it. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, what's this? And I click on it, and they're like Android apps that you can install on the Chromebook, like full-fledged Android apps. No longer everything's running in a web browser. These are standalone Android apps. I'm like, wow, that is a game changer right there. That is pretty significant. So I tell her, I'm like, hey, let me play with this Chromebook for a little while. I want to check it out. And the first thing I do is I log into it. And one of the really nice things about the Chromebook is it immediately starts syncing everything. So everything associated to my Diego Dev email address that I have on my other Chrome installs, all the extensions, all that sync right down. Fantastic. I have always liked that about the Chromebook. So I'm already at a state where it's functional, but I wanted to install some of the Android apps that I use on a regular basis, and I couldn't find the Play Store on my account. So I'm of course I'm Googling. I'm like, oh, what's going on? It's like, oh yeah, go here, and you've got to enable it. So I go there, and I'm not able to enable it. And guess why?
Because it's a G Suite account. Really?
Account. It's a G Suite account. And I'm like, what is the logic there? Why can I not install these Android apps on this Chromebook because of a G Suite account?
Wow.
So I don't know if there's a configuration I need to change in our G Suite, because that happens from time to time. It says, hey, allow users to do whatever, and we usually just set everything to on because we don't really want to restrict people. But yeah,
I can understand from the family plan with movies and that type of thing. That kind of makes sense, but yeah, on a Chromebook, that could be a business device where you want apps.
You think that would only make it more of a business device.
Right, exactly.
I don't understand it. I really don't understand this idea that why the G Suite needs to be so limited, but it's frustrating.
I think limiting it gives control to administrators. So I think in a big company,
but only if they allow you to turn it on. If they gave us as administrators of the domain some way to enable it and say, okay, you can install these types of apps or these exact apps.
I'm sure they do.
I'll keep playing with it. I'll give you guys an update next week if I figure out how to do it. But the quick hour I spent with it today could not figure out how to get the apps installed on the G Suite, which is also frustrating for my daughter who works for Diego Dev. So now she has both her accounts on this Chromebook because she switches back and forth depending on what application she wants to use.
Yeah, and you broke it.
Not the new one.
I have a question for you guys.
I'm scared of where this is going.
You ever use Magento?
Nope.
Have not. I take that back. I briefly touched on it a couple times, but I haven't really used it.
I looked at it. Geez, got to be a decade ago now. When I was working at bowlingball.com, and I gave up quickly.
It's rough. I mean, it's like a lot of advanced CMS applications where it's a framework for a CMS, but it has such a steep learning curve. But the big news is that Adobe has purchased Magento.
Oh, I heard about this. So what do you think the play is on that?
Square.com. I think they want to get into and compete in the build your own website marketplace. Hey, there's
because, I mean,
Squarespace.
Square.
Not Square, I'm sorry, Squarespace.
Oh. Okay.
Squarespace and Shopify. There's a number of SaaS platforms for building your own website and then just doing self-hosted and or hosted by the provider. Magento has a B2B product. They've got, you know, a support structure for small businesses, large businesses, all sorts of.
Well, Magento is a pretty big hitter in the e-commerce world. I mean, it's no small potatoes. So I don't know. It just seems like a weird thing for Adobe to get into. I don't know why I think it's so weird, but it just seems weird.
I think it makes sense. I think Adobe sees the future of web content. I mean, don't forget that Flash is essentially dead now, which is a chunk of change for Adobe.
They've got a lot of other products out there. Yeah, no, I get it, but they've got a ton of other products out there.
I don't know. I've seen their margins slipping. Their Photoshop suite software, which used to cost like $2,000 a year, is now under a subscription model for like $150.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes the video editing stuff and all sorts of fancy gadgets.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I always like to see these PHP solutions get purchased by big companies.
I just hope they don't destroy it. Or maybe they do. I'm not a big fan of Magento.
I hear it's really difficult to develop in.
Yeah, it's insane. It's entirely a domain-specific language, and it's just it's crazy. I've looked at it a couple times, and every time I see it, I just go, "Oh my god, that's overwhelmingly awful."
Is the table structure still as bad as it used to be?
I'm not sure, but I can't imagine that it's advanced a whole lot.
I think if I remember correctly, there are like tables with like hundreds of columns. It was like just ridiculous to even try and play in the database.
Yeah. And the database defined the structure for the pages, and yeah. All right, no more comments there then.
Nope.
How do you guys feel about privacy?
Ted, well, hold on before you jump into. I mean, good question. I don't know if this has ever happened. Ted Nugent in chat just says, "Hey, shows you that Laravel could be an acquisition in the future." But has a framework ever? I mean, obviously there have been companies that have started frameworks like Symfony and Zen, but
WordPress,
yeah. But a framework ever been purchased? Like a straight up framework ever been purchased by a company? And why would they?
Especially an open source one.
I could see Taylor's assets like Forge and those sort of things being purchased, and maybe making Laravel part of that deal. I guess I could see that. I mean, Taylor has built up quite the little ecosystem of Laravel products. I could see a company come in and say, "Okay, we want all your Laravel products, and we want to be, we want Laravel as part of that." I guess I could potentially see that happening. But I mean, that would probably be just a straight up money play for Taylor, where he's kind of done with developing on it and done caring about it. And I actually don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well, I think with Magento, they have a large number of business solution products that they can sell, that they do sell. They've got business intelligence and analytics and credit card processing, shipping management.
Yeah, so they bought the whole company, right?
Yeah, so everything under the sun for the team.
Yeah. I was about to ask a stupid question, like, why would you buy an open source product? But then now I think about it, and you have Oracle buying MySQL. So of course it happens.
Yeah, you have Red Hat buying everything.
Sun purchased MySQL. Oracle purchased Sun. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But then Red Hat has Ansible. They purchased Ansible and started producing paid tools for Ansible.
That's true. Yeah.
Red Hat does a lot of buying in the open source community.
Let's make Diego Dev open source so somebody will buy us.
Well, we just have to call Diego Dev blockchain and somebody will buy us tomorrow.
You sure? I mean, have you seen the prices of Bitcoin lately? We haven't talked about it in like months because it got to this high of 20K, and it's
really depressing.
It's like down to 7,300 now or something, right? Yeah. Now, hold on. I've got a command line that I can run to get the to get it here. It's currently at 7450.
So he was doing this. Was it this morning? No. When did we work together? Tuesday. Anyway, he's got this little command line tool he runs, and like it shows a little ASCII graph, and you could set the how many days you want included in the graph. It was really pretty cool.
It's actually just an alias to a curl command, but yeah, I'll put it in the show notes for people. Yeah, it is because I'll just be on the command line. I'll just type in Bitcoin and get the price real quick.
Now, in the crypto world, there is some news. So the first big one is that video card prices are back to normal almost. There's high availability for various video cards that were unavailable for a long time. The prices seem to be floating back to a regular place. Coinbase is renaming GDAX. It's now going to be Coinbase Pro.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that whole GDAX interface was so hard to understand and work. But there's supposed to be
name that's changing.
Yeah, but okay. That's why they're calling it Pro, though, because it's such a pain in the ass to work in. So Coinbase itself, if you purchase through there, which is what I use because it's easy, they take a much bigger cut or transaction fee when you buy.
Yeah.
But suppose if you buy directly through GDAX, it's supposed to be next to nothing in transaction fees.
Yeah,
but I never took the time to learn.
It's got candle charts and it's got real-time transaction data, and it's like if you know how to read this, good for you, but it's so incredibly difficult to read.
It's a lot of data. If you're into data, it's fun to go just look at.
I guess. I don't know.
But it's overwhelming, is what it is.
Maybe if you know how to read it, you start seeing the patterns and stuff.
Maybe.
What else is in Bitcoin news? Or crypto?
I saw something. I saw something on. Oh, where was that? They were talking about the 51% issue, where if you control 51% of the network, you could easily spoof blocks and basically take people's money. Has something come up recently about that where it's been an issue?
I haven't seen a recent issue with that. There was a large issue with that on some of the older coins. it turned out that if you spun up your own cryptocurrency, you had to keep a really careful eye on it because the early introductory people who were joining in often ended up doing 51% attacks against you. But yeah, it's I mean, there's still information about Tron, which Tron is
Verge.
just not a thing.
Verge fell victim to the 51% attack. This came out a few days ago.
Ugh.
Again, it says. So if you don't follow cryptocurrency, if you can control 51% of the network or have 51% of the processing power of the entire network, you basically have the right to write any information you want to the blockchain. So at that point, you can just take people's money.
Now, Ethereum is getting close to their proof of stake network, which would prevent this kind of attack from occurring unless you owned 51% of the money in the network, which at this point would be billions of dollars. So Ethereum has definitely continued moving forward. Vitalik Buterin is all over the news constantly for controversial statements. People are still following John McAfee, which I can't believe. I still get emails from this shady crypto group that I'm a member of here in Colorado Springs. And they'll say, yeah, the big recommendation from John McAfee is this thing now. And it's like, no, he was proven to be a liar. Why are you like, they proved that he was being paid by the company to shill their cryptocurrency. Stop spreading his lies.
Fun.
Hey, speaking of shady meetup groups, did you see Denver's finally got their Denver PHP group going?
Did not.
Not that they're shady. Speaking
not
of
that you implied that in any way.
I should have thought through that one a little better. Yeah. Denver PHP is finally a thing. And I think I know they had one meetup. Yeah, they had one meetup. Oh, it looks like they've had two meetups now. They had their second meetup. I mean, how far is that for you, Thomas, to go to Denver?
It's not too bad. It's about an hour.
I assume no traffic because we know how you are with traffic.
Yeah, no traffic.
You should head up there.
So is that like an hour just straight uphill?
No, I'm in the valley now, so it would just be pretty flat. I mean,
you got do you have PHP ugly stickers, Thomas?
I do.
You do? You got like a lot of them? You need to go to a meetup and hand out some stickers, man.
I need Wave PHP stickers.
I have Wave PHP stickers. I can send you some Wave PHP stickers.
I got a stack.
That's SDPHP. I don't think they'll care about that. I can get you some Wave PHP stickers. You know who's running Denver PHP?
Who?
Wave PHP speaker Amanda Folsom.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Well, fine. I might just have to do that.
Sounds like we should send her some stickers.
Probably should. Actually, that's a good point, John. We should send her some stickers. So yeah, now. Are you still going to the Colorado Springs PHP meetup, or do you guys still have a meetup? Yeah,
I'm supposed to go. It's been rough lately.
I'm supposed to go. Being an organizer and all.
Well, I have not been able to lately. I've been absolutely stuck.
Another interesting tidbit. Organizer of Colorado Springs PHP is a speaker at Wave PHP.
Oh, really?
Brian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Peak PHP, Brian Johnson. He's technically the one that hasn't confirmed yet. So if you see him, tell him to confirm.
I'll have to yell at him about that. I mean, if I see him.
You should see him because you have a meetup on June 13th. So you would see him then at very least. June 13th. You guys meet the same day we meet. How cool is that? Second Wednesday of the month. Let's see. How you guys doing with group size? Members? How many members you guys have now?
63.
63, man. Not bad at all. That's pretty good. I think it took us probably a year to break 50.
No. Stop it. Wasn't that
I'm trying to
bad.
make them feel better. I'm trying to make them feel better about themselves, John.
All right,
Took
so
us a couple hours to break 50.
back to my question. How do you guys feel about privacy?
I don't care for it.
There is none.
What are you hiding? That's my question.
There's a big concern that we haven't covered lately or at all on the podcast, which has been on my list, but it turns out that all the big cell phone companies were giving away or selling everyone's location data to a couple companies that did not have any security and were giving their information away to local police departments.
Really?
So the police could just give these companies a phone number and the company would return all the location data that they had, which was all of your location data.
Wow. How has that not been bigger news?
I'm not entirely sure.
Because Thomas is making it up.
Absolutely not. The company.
I don't see a card, so I can't verify any of this information you're giving me. You're just spouting off at the mouth right now.
That's the card.
What's the card?
So the article here is Mobile Giants, please don't share the where. And it talks about how AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon are selling all location data to third-party companies in real time without any customer consent or court order, and there has been no accountability for how the data is used, stored, shared, or protected.
And this is on Krebs.
Yes. So the company Location Smart is one of these companies that has all of this data.
So
it looks like they had a try before you buy demo that was just like a guest sign in, and no one knew this.
You're saying personal identifiable information attached to your phone in your location is being shared with third parties.
Just your phone number and location.
Yeah, your phone number and location.
I consider my phone number as personally identifiable information.
I would agree.
Right. I mean, but they're not tying. Yeah. If somebody knows that that's your phone number, yes, it's PII. That's scary.
Yeah. So you could just log in and their lookup tool would give you almost any mobile phone number, current location in the U.S. And it's not being addressed. It's not like an issue in the media, so no one's doing anything about it.
That's shocking to me. We talked last week about the whole Alexa thing that happened where somebody's conversation was sent to a contact.
Yeah.
And of course that started making the rounds, and my wife saw the article and was like freaked out by it. And I'm like,
I've seen it on Facebook.
Listen, just tell her I wasn't offended by the message. It's fine.
It's like, but you realize there was just a weird sequence of events that happened to make that work out. But now, you know how you're sitting in your office or your living room, and all of a sudden the Echo device just starts spinning like it's listening.
I have it tell me random stuff all the time.
Yeah. So now every time that happens, she's like freaked out. Like, it's listening. We have to get rid of these things.
Yeah, the freaky part is that it's listening when that thing isn't spinning.
Right. But Eric brought up a good point. Your cell phone has probably been doing that for a decade now.
Yeah. Well, so the big concern here is that,
and let's not forget our microwaves are listening to us as well, as Thomas pointed out.
Right,
no, the cameras are looking, they're looking at us.
Yeah, they're watching.
Oh, that's right.
It's very
watching me shower. I forgot that was it.
Wait, you have a microwave in your bathroom?
No, you said it could map your whole house from one location.
Yeah, that's true. It can. Well, so the big concern with this location tracking data is that the police are using it, and there's no kind of warrant required for them to get this information. So if they were going to try to get information from the companies directly, like AT&T, they would have to get a warrant for the information. But because AT&T is selling the information to third parties, they just have to be a member of the third party's program to get the information. They don't have to have any kind of warrant, which is a big concern for privacy advocates. But another big privacy concern popped up recently as well, which was that Amazon is really pushing its facial recognition technology to law enforcement in the US.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Now, this is after a huge expose where it was found that sheriff's departments were purchasing massive surveillance technology in secret, not telling the public that they had it, and were using it to profile and track down people. Now, this software, which is being offered for incredibly cheap, is being used to do facial recognition. And if anyone has seen what facial recognition tech in China looks like, that's the kind of thing they're going for.
Yeah. And it's just getting cheaper. I mean, it's crazy. Not along the same lines exactly, but I've recently worked on a project that did license plate recognition, where it would take a picture of a car, and it would give you the license plate number, the state, the color of the car, the make, the model, and in the extent that I'm using it, I have yet to have to pay for it, so it's free, and I get all this sort of information. It's crazy the sort of services that are being developed now. And this particular service that I'm using has other things that you can do, which includes where it kind of figures out the emotional state of a person in an image as well. So you can actually have a camera.
I was going to go back to your license plate recognition. It's not like it's taking your license plate and then running it through another service. It's taking a picture of the car and giving you, oh, it's a black car, it's this make, this model, from the picture, not because of the license plate.
Right. It's just like OCR stuff.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like having access to the state.
That sort of stuff was so crazy difficult to do before. And now it's like a free service. And that's what I'm saying. What you're telling me.
Composer include facial recognition.
Yeah. It's like what you're telling me about these lookup services for, kind of sensitive data just getting cheaper and cheaper, and law enforcement is now starting to take advantage of it. Just doesn't surprise me, because there's so many services out there now. And
take advantage is really the key here, because the law restricting law enforcement has not kept up with the times. So if they have body cams, which are intended to help accountability in law enforcement, they're turned into facial recognition devices. Now they have the name of everybody who they've encountered throughout the entire.
And can I ask you an honest question? What's wrong with that? Why would that be a problem? If
it's a violation of my privacy for the government to collect my location.
No. Slow down for a quick second. Take a beat. If he's a law enforcement agent on the street, has with you, why is it a problem that contact is logged? I'm just curious why you have
he might not interact with me.
If he's not doing anything wrong, law enforcement shouldn't know that he's there.
Right, and it's not that he's having an interaction with me. It's that he's walking around town, or he's at the 7-Eleven, and it captures.
Okay. But you can't scream invasion. You can't scream. You can't scream invasion of privacy in those cases when you're in a public place.
When it gets logged, no, absolutely not. I can, because when it gets logged into a database that can be easily indexed and searched for a complete history of my location. That's an invasion of privacy. That's not just I saw him at 7-Eleven. So our system of law uses a lot of the failings of human memory to account for things. So the fact that the fact that a cop can't remember every single face he sees in a single day is important to the way that our laws are written. And now when you have a cop who can have every single face he encounters at a target registered and recorded for all time and then cross-indexed with physical locations anywhere else, that becomes an invasion of privacy because it's constant monitoring. If you're being followed by the police, you could file harassment. If you're being followed for absolutely no reason by the police, you can file harassment. But if the police are always aware of your location because of the facial tracking information they have, that's not harassment. That's just knowledge.
I think you're taking it to an extreme with that.
That's the current state of things in China and in the UK. It's not extremes because it's currently been implemented by totalitarian governments. China has a social ranking system that docks you points if you jaywalk. And there are places in China where if you jaywalk, there's a giant screen on that street that will display your picture to shame you publicly for jaywalking. These are not extreme examples. These are examples that are currently in place.
That has nothing to do with identifying a person, though. That's
what they're doing is but what they're doing is identifying the person, displaying the person's name.
But let's not give into fear mongering here. I mean, you're doom and gloom. You're not fear mongering. All right. Let's not pretend that that the police are tracking you even when you go home because you have Nest cameras at your house now. That's not happening.
Super bad information for you.
You're pushing a line with me, so it better be valid shit because I will jump down your throat if it's not.
So one of the technologies that it was discovered a lot of police departments are purchasing are fake cell phone antennas. These sort of drone devices that can be placed around the city or flown around the city that emit a signal that implies that they are a cell phone tower and collects the data from your phone responding for it.
But doesn't that interrupt your phone calls if they're doing that?
No, it doesn't, because you have to have at least 3 towers valid on your phone. It's called an AMAI system. Is it AMAI? Oh boy, now it's not AMAI. Now I gotta check.
Show's running long because you're checking your acronyms here.
Is this related to this ticket you have out here, Thomas? I'm not seeing the connection you're making.
So it's been discovered several times in the last year or two that police agencies are buying these high-tech devices. In this case, the device is called a Stingray. And the Stingray is a phone tracker that extracts a lot of metadata, including location, and can track MMS and SMS information. People in Oakland got sick of it. So Oakland passed the US's strongest surveillance oversight law that essentially requires that all purchases of technology be publicly stated, and that the police cannot buy technology or use technology that is secret from the public.
I agree with that. I think that's a great idea.
So if you go ahead and Google police stingray,
you're making me work for this, aren't you?
I am.
I am biting my tongue right now, but you're going to make me work for this.
You'll get a map that's been produced by the ACLU.
Okay. Oh, the Stingray tracker, phone tracker, Wikipedia thing? Is that?
ACLU.org. That's the second link for me. And it shows you in your area which public authorities have and use Stingray devices. So for you guys in California, local police and state police have Stingray devices that are used to simulate cell phone towers to trick cell phones into giving up valuable information. And that technology, which is intended exclusively to gather information without warrant, was purchased with your tax money.
But are they using it without warrant?
Yes, they are. They don't need a warrant. There's no law that's preventing them from doing this because your phone is sending out the signal.
Sure about that?
Absolutely.
I don't think you're right there.
So this is the problem, is that the law in America has not kept up with the technology. And the question that you were asking, which is, if you're in a public place, aren't you giving up your privacy for being in that public place? And the answer for the cell phone is, if your cell phone is broadcasting a signal that's available from outside your home, is that signal private? And in the case of the police, it is not private. They can hijack that signal and analyze it without any kind of warrant because it's publicly available. This is the same sort of law that they've used to catch people growing pot in their attics by flying a helicopter over communities with an infrared camera and looking for warm attics. So if they can see it from outside your home, it's not private.
Funny.
So the ACLU so far has identified 73 agencies in 25 states and in the District of Columbia that own Stingrays. But this is only the publicly available information. The outside of Oakland, the police departments and sheriff's departments that operate these devices do not have to disclose that they've purchased them.
Yeah,
the question is, can I buy one?
Yeah, that's the big question. Or make one. I have a Raspberry Pi. Can I make one?
Yes.
I want to make one.
Yeah, they're relatively simple.
Right. That counts as your doom and gloom. Even though it was
I know.
fun, fear,
now,
uncertainty, and doubt, I'm counting it as doom and gloom.
So here's what you can do. There is...
Put your phone in the microwave.
There's an app for your phone. It's because these are fake cell phone points, they don't relay information correctly. So you can catch that these cell phone towers are not real by installing an IMSI catcher.
Do you have the acronym correct this time?
I do. I've had one of these apps on my phone for a long time. If you don't trust the App Store, you can go through F-Droid, which has ISMI detectors.
What would be the point of that?
It will tell you that you're being targeted by one of these fake cell phone towers. So the question is, to close out my doom and gloom, is why is Oakland's strongest, quote unquote, strongest law, which just says we have to know what technology police are buying, not national? Because that seems, like you said, like it's a common sense kind of thing. We should know if they're buying spy tech. But this is, so far, this is only in Oakland.
Well,
and
somebody had to be the first.
And I think that the police system in America needs to catch up. And if you think that's bad, you should look at what the sheriff's system in America is, because police versus sheriff is not as simple a distinction as people think it is.
Right. Yeah, we've learned that where we live. We're actually patrolled by sheriff, and you quickly learn the differences.
Yeah, it's a stark difference. But there's also significant legal differences between police and sheriff and what they can do. And sheriffs are far more on the side of independent contractors in a war zone than police are. Did I kill it? Did I kill the show?
Yep.
Yeah,
Good job.
pretty much. Yep. I think that's I think you wrapped it up with that one.
Now, you have a ticket related to this, Eric.
No, we're done. Nope.
Oh,
No more conversations. We're done. You decided to use up the end of the show with this big rant about police. Now we're done. And this was a good topic.
It was about privacy and how privacy has because of technology, been so easily eroded.
Keep this on for maybe next week. I'm still debating if I even want to talk about that one. It was funnier. It was funnier before you made everybody all mopey. But I actually like this other one better. See, I'm going to hold on to both these now.
Protect your privacy. You have a right to your own privacy. And the tired excuse of what do you have to hide, it no longer flies anymore.
What do you have to hide, Thomas?
My privacy.
Tell us. Just tell us what you're hiding.
It's my privacy.
I am a big privacy fan, but I am not a fan of fear mongering at all.
What do you have? What do you say when people say to you, "What do you have to hide?" Because I'm a privacy advocate, and when I get into it with people who are not, they say, "What does it matter if you have nothing to hide?" And I don't have
it's not a matter of having anything to hide. You shouldn't have to have anything to hide. The whole idea behind privacy in America is that you're not put into a position to defend your actions without reasonable cause. So me saying, I shouldn't be questioned why I'm at a park at 10 o'clock at night unless there's a reasonable cause for me to be questioned for that. So my privacy is important to me because I don't need to respond to that. It's unless somebody's been murdered at that park and I happen to be there at 10 o'clock at night, it's none of your business why I'm there. Whether I'm doing something wrong or not, it's not a matter of having anything to hide or not having anything to hide. As an American citizen, you are innocent until proven guilty. You don't have to defend yourself if there's nothing. If there isn't a reasonable cause to defend yourself. That is just the most simplest way I can put privacy here in the U.S. Now, I do understand we have a global audience, and that changes depending on where you're at. And I'm sure everybody would like to have, or I feel like a lot of people are envious of our privacy here in the U.S., but that's kind of my general take on it. So yeah, I get a little frustrated with the whole, what do you have to hide thing as well, because it's not about having to hide anything.
I agree. I think that's the best explanation I've heard. I don't have to explain my actions without just cause.
Right.
Yeah, and you say that what I'm saying is fear mongering, and what I'm afraid of is that I don't see it as fear-mongering. I see it as pointing out the small coverage about the infringement of our privacy not being significant enough. Is that I don't want to go back to China again because their system is, again, totalitarian. I will stay away from it.
I appreciate that because that's one of the triggers for me when people go to something like that, which is so clearly on the other side of the spectrum, and I think the majority of people would disagree with, and saying we can be this. It's like, wait a minute, we're not even close to being that right now.
Yes.
Stop using that as the example. Let's ease into that some.
So I would say, as a society, we're not close to that. We're not close to accepting that. But I would say that as a government, the technology is there and being used, It's just not being used publicly. So there are, and this is not an exaggeration, there are secret courts in America where warrants are gathered for use of these devices that do need warrants. And the fact that we have quote unquote secret courts, to me, is really, really strange. That doesn't seem like an American institution.
They're not very good secrets if you know about them.
We know that they exist, and we know who the judges are, but we don't know what cases they see, and we don't know what evidence they're given. And the evidence they're given is often being described as gathered without a warrant for the purpose of getting a warrant. So it's borderline on, we can't use this in court, but we're looking for a version of it we can. And just because we're not in the system that China is in, where everyone knows they're being tracked and they're given a social score based off of their public interactions, it doesn't mean that the police departments around the country aren't doing that, because it's become very clear from multiple cases that they are scoring individuals and tracking them or following them based off of that score to try and catch them in a crime. And so I don't see it as fear-mongering. I see it as trying to make information available that seems like it's not being made available.
And I see that as fear-mongering.
Right. I now think you've killed the show.
I think that's fear-mongering.
What are we, episode 108?
108.
Jeez, I'm not at this point not sure there's going to be a 109, but let's assume there will be.
It'll be recorded with or without our consent.
Exactly. All right, I think that's it. I'm calling it. I'll be the bad guy here. That's it. We're done. Episode 109, 108, 10. Damn it. That's it. We're done. Episode 108 of PSP Ugly is in the can. I'm Eric Van Johnson.
I'm John Congdon.
I'm Tom Rideout. Keep it ugly. See, I'm just trying to keep it ugly.
You're doing a fantastic job at it.
All right.
I'm
stopping recording.